Hello everyone, I'm Tommy and welcome to Studio Sense. Just what exactly is Maninka fruit and why is it considered an aphrodisiac? So we're going to answer those questions and how they relate to Hugo Boss. We're going to take a closer look at this 2017 fragrance release for men, why you should know more about it, that and more, so stay tuned. Hey guys, and welcome back. We're talking about Maninka fruit. What exactly is Maninka fruit? I'm going to show you the image of Maninka. Whenever you check it out on Google or any search engine, that's the one that comes up for the most part. The reason that Maninka fruit is related to the scent is because it's the first time that this fruit was used in a fragrance. Now, what exactly is Maninka fruit? It's a fruit that grows naturally in South Africa in a shrub or bush-like tree, the flower of which resembles a fried egg. And so it's been called the fried egg tree or the snuff box tree because the actual fruit itself is used for snuff boxes. It's also been said that it's an aphrodisiac, and if you chew on a piece of Maninka fruit for 3 days, that will lead to excitement for men and women. I'm assuming they're talking about intimacy and not a trip to the hospital for food poisoning. Before you start chewing on a piece of Maninka fruit for 3 days, you might want to take a closer look at a fragrance release that actually has Maninka fruit in it, and that is Hugo Boss The Scent Parfum Edition. Now there are several The Scent flankers and it's easy to get confused. I'm going to show them so that you are no longer confused. You know what you're talking about. You know what other people are talking about. So the original release was in 2015. It was called Hugo Boss The Scent. And then there was Hugo Boss The Scent Intense. And then there was Hugo Boss The Scent Private Accord, The Scent Absolute, and now The Scent Parfum Edition. Now this is a flanker that was actually released prior to The Scent Absolute. The Scent Absolute came out in 2019. This came out in 2017. So chronologically, this is the earlier flanker than The Scent Absolute. Right now, I believe The Scent Absolute is the final one. You know, the Private Accord, Absolute, those are the final two flankers thus far in the Scent line. Maybe they'll come out with some more, but today we're checking out the Scent Parfum Edition, simply because it's going to be a really good fall fragrance. I know I've been talking about Maninka fruit. Before we get into any kind of note breakdown though, let's check out that presentation. So whether you're a fan of Hugo Boss fragrances or not, you gotta admit the presentation is pretty darn cool for this particular fragrance, the Parfum Edition. It's a frosted glass and it's frosted black glass. Now it's not see-through at all, it's completely solid, and I really like that look. This to me is really, really nice. I like that. It's almost, it reminds me of, have you ever seen the Edison bulbs, like being in a restaurant or in a really nice upscale location or locale? They'll often have the Edison bulbs that are kind of the old-fashioned looking bulbs. That's kind of what this reminds me of, that time period. These are the bottles used in the presentation for the entire scent line. The darkest of all is the Parfum Edition. Now this is supposed to be a darker and more powerful version of the Seductive Classic. In 2015, when it was released, it was the first fragrance to ever feature Maninka fruit. And then later on you started seeing other fragrances come out using Maninka fruit, such as the Score, Be Mindful, there's one called The Aroma for Men, Submarine, Casanova, Unico. So there's all kinds of fragrances now, at least, that are starting to make use of that Maninka fruit. Maninka smells like, if you ever had Sherry's Berries, chocolate covered strawberries, like a dried fruit that's also sweet and a little bit dark and rich. It's a complicated aroma. It's not something super simple. And that's what I really like about the entire The Scent line, is the fact that it makes use of a fruit that's primarily used for its purported aphrodisiac effect. So while some people chew on the fruit for 3 days for excitement for men and women, I recommend that you can actually elicit the same effects by wearing this fragrance or any of the Scent line fragrances for 3 days. There you go, try it out. So in the top, you've got some fruit and a ginger accord. In the mid, you've got Maninka fruit, of course. You've got fragrant accord iris. In the root is called orris or iris, orris root. Orris root is a resinous, it's kind of like, it's a fixative. So what it does, it takes the notes of Maninka, ginger, and some of the fruits, and it fuses them together so that they blend extremely well. In the very base of this though is where the Maninka mixes with the patchouli and then a burnished leather to kind of get almost a tobacco essence of this. So it's kind of a mix of elegance and luxury with a little bit of utilitarianism there, and that's what really makes it somewhat of an aphrodisiac effect. Meaning it's magnetic, it's alluring, it's very sexy, especially in cooler weather, is going to bring out the actual personality of the notes themselves. What is burnished leather? Burnished leather is closer to the fire, kind of more exotic, a little bit warmer, infuses a lot of warmth into the actual leather itself. So let's go ahead and stop talking about it because it's making my mouth water. Let's check it out now. In the Studio Sense catalog, any video you can click on, and I'm probably saying fruits are a great introduction to, and they really are. There's really no better introduction to men's fragrance than our fruits. That's why the YSL, the Y Live, the Y Eau de Parfum are such popular fragrances, because they do fruit so very well. It's infused into the DNA, not just as an introduction, not just as an open note, but also in the heart and in the base, and in just the entire profile is very, very fruity. The fruit in this is a great introduction. However, there's something more going on with this. This is going to be definitely one of my favorite fall or cooler weather fragrances because of how changeable it is. This is an instance where fruits are a handshake to the darker, richer Maninka. Now, Maninka is a fruit, but it's kind of a dusty, dark, richer fruit. It's like a fruit with the promise of something more, like patchouli, leather, ginger. Ginger is a spice, of course, and this is what makes this so effusive, and this is what helps aid in the projection, in the scent bubble, the sillage, the trail. There's a lot going on. This is extremely complex and multi-layered. It's not just a super simple profile, but what it does, how pleasing it is relatively simple, relatively linear, and how it gets to the heart of the matter, how it gets to the emotive sense of smell and what you like basically about the smell of a fragrance. This is likely going to be in the average to above average category in terms of your longevity. In terms of the projection bubble, I get a good 2+ hours out of most of the scent flankers. And this is likely going to be no exception because of the burnished leather, the ginger, and the patchouli working together. This one leans a little bit on the gourmand spectrum, but not wholly gourmand. Fragrances like that typically don't lend themselves to upscale environments or being dressed up. This is going to be a wholly casual, cooler weather fragrance. It's going to be something you can wear all year round as a signature scent, but where it's going to shine is in the department of fall and autumn and on into winter. A little bit cooler weather fragrance for the Scent Parfum edition. I would like to give it a full-on review, so look for that in the days to come, but I really appreciate you stopping by and checking out the Scent Parfum edition for men with me today. As always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. Without you and without your loyal viewership, I wouldn't be growing like I am, and I truly appreciate it. That's it for today's video, guys. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.